Well, hello everyone. Well, today is part 2 of a 3-part series that we're doing on how you can help your teenager with social anxiety. And today I got a great story for you, and it leads to a strategy that can really help your teenager with this. I think you're going to love it. So let's get started. Well, hello again, everyone. My name is Jim White, and I'm an author, coach, and the founder of the Family Enrichment Academy. And today we're talking about how you can help your teenager with social anxiety. This is part 2 of a 3-part series we're doing on this topic. Before we dive in today, though, I just wanted to invite you to make sure you stick around to the end of the video. I've got a resource for you. It's 10 questions you should never ask your teenager. And at the end of the video, I'll share some more information about this and how you can get it. It's a free resource. So anyway, back to our topic for today. Now, in this particular video, what we're going to be talking about is building connection and how important that is to your teenager developing a sense of self, or a strong sense of self. And as you can imagine, when they go out into the world and maybe they're feeling a little left out, or maybe they feel like they don't belong, or someone of their friends does something that's maybe they pick on them or whatever, this strong sense of self can go a long way to helping them to reduce that anxiety that they might experience in that situation. So it's that self-image, if you will. And so today we're talking about building connection and how that has an impact on that sense of self. And how it works, if you think about it, as the teenager has, or your child, as they grow into their teen years, if they have a really strong sense of connection to you as the parent and to your home, that's what their sense of self sort of grows out of. They become an extension of you and an extension of your home. But it all starts with developing that connection with you. And that's a critical component. And another thing that happens is if your teen's out, let's say, and they do have one of those experiences where they feel like they don't belong, or they are left out and don't fit in, if they have that strong connection to home, they always know they can come back home, and the home is a safe place where they are unconditionally loved, and it's just there. It's like a foundation for them. So again, that's why this connection component is so important. Now, what I have for you today is I want to tell a little story, and it leads to a strategy that I really would encourage you to try to find a way to work in with your teenager over the next, let's say, several months, as a way to start to create some of this connection. And actually the story, it involves an interview I did with a local church. He was the minister of the youth program at a local church here in where I live. And he was telling me about a program that they do as a way, it's something for mothers and daughters. And again, the purpose of it is to help them to build connection. And what this program is, and let me back up a minute, what we're leading to here is the idea of creating a shared experience with your teenager. If you can find a way to create a shared experience, that's a great way to connect. And that's what this particular event that this church ran every year, that was the intention of it. And again, it was for mothers and daughters. And what they did, it was a mud run. And so this particular church has quite a bit of ground, and what they would do is they set up like a mile-long course, and they literally would hose it down. They would spread water throughout it and create a lot of like mud pits along this mile-long course. And there were things for the participants to climb over and under. And as you can imagine, as they made their way through this course, they became quite muddy and dirty, but it was a lot of fun for them as well. And so what would happen is they would send a mother and a daughter team off onto this course, and they would run and make their way through the obstacles. When they would get done, they had set up an area for the mothers and daughters to then sit for a moment with each other, kind of on their own. And what the daughters didn't know is that the mothers had been instructed to write a letter before this event started. And the letter, the premise, the sort of the foundation of it was that, right now, they would say to their daughter, right now you don't look pretty, meaning she's covered with mud, she's filthy, her hair's a mess, no makeup, that sort of thing. But to me, you're beautiful because, and then the mother would fill in attributes, things about their daughter that they found beautiful, that inside stuff that they found beautiful about them. And it's interesting, as I tell this story, and I know I've told it to other people, it's hard not to get, a little bit emotional when you hear about this and you think about a mother and a daughter sitting there and her sharing this with her daughter. And as you can imagine, this is an experience. It's a great way to connect, for those two to connect. Now, the interesting part about this, as this minister was telling me the story, was that he had heard multiple times from the daughters that had participated in this event about how they had kept those letters. They had them in their rooms when they were in high school, and whenever there was they felt a little bit disconnected or alone or whatever, they would pull out that letter and go back to it and read it. And it was a way for them to, again, to kind of get filled up, if you will, or to get reconnected and reconnect to who they were as a person. On top of that, the stories were that the daughters took those letters with them off to college. In that freshman year, when a lot of students experience a little bit of that homesickness, or they feel, again, they're in a new environment, a lot of anxiety pops up as they're trying to make new friends, and they're just, everything is new to them there. Again, those letters went with these daughters to college, and they would pull them out when they were struggling, when when they're going to bed, it's late at night and they're laying there and they're feeling that anxiety come up, pull out these letters, go back to them and read them. And it was a way to bring comfort and peace, and again, reconnect them to their home. So, point being, it was just a really great way for these mothers and daughters to connect, was through the shared experience, and then through the mother sharing some of her what she appreciated, or the attributes that she loved about her daughter. So, what I'm inviting you to do is think about how you might be able to create a similar shared experience. Now, it may not be the same exact thing, but let's say you've got a son, and it's a father and a son, for example, and your son, he likes to fish, let's say. Well, maybe you plan a fishing trip that's an overnight fishing trip, and when you're there at night, when it's kind of settled in, you could pre-prepare, again, a letter that had, something like this, where you kind of share what you love about your son, and what just give them something to hold on to. If it's a daughter, again, it may not be a mud run, but you can find something else that you can do, and again, put together something. And I think the important thing is that you write this out on a piece of paper, because then it's something they can take with them, and they can always have it, whether it's in their room or when they leave the house off to college. They have this physical piece of paper that they can pull out and go back to as a way to reconnect when they're having one of those difficult times, when they're experiencing some of that social anxiety. So they come back from school, high school one day, and they're feeling left out, boom, back to that piece of paper. It lives with them on through that piece of paper. So anyway, I just thought it was an awesome way to create connection and to give your child something tangible that they can take with them to help build that and strengthen that connection to home. So something to think about, and again, I highly recommend it. I think you would find it's a great tool that your teenager can have. So anyway, back to, again, I mentioned at the beginning about these 10 questions that I have that are questions you should never ask your teenager. And the reason I've done that is because, again, it's around connection. A lot of parents talk about how they feel disconnected from their teen and their teen won't talk to them anymore. Well, these questions are these are the questions that sort of shut them down. So you want to be careful to avoid these types of questions. And I also have 10 great questions, the ones that tend to open them up. And I'll include a link down below. You can click that link, go to our website, and put in your email. We'll send those over. You can download those questions. So I think you'll find them super helpful. And so again, it's a great way to get your teen to open up. And you start to incorporate some of these questions and the strategies around these questions, and your teen will start to open up right away. So definitely check that out and give it a shot. Well, anyway, I hope you found some value today. As always, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to serve you as you move along your parenting journey, and it is a journey, and we have to continue to grow and learn with our children as our children are growing and learning. So I produce this content on a regular basis, so be sure to check it out. Maybe subscribe to the channel so that you can get the videos that come out. I do them on a regular basis. Try to do a couple a week, so there's always new stuff and new contents. And actually, if you ever have any ideas or any particular issues that you're struggling with, be sure to share them with me. It creates an idea for a particular video coming up, and I can share some thoughts on that and maybe some strategies that'll help. So Anyway, hopefully you found some value again, and again, our mission here is just to be able to serve and support parents and to empower parents to choose love over fear regardless of your circumstance. And the whole idea is so that you can bring more peace, joy, warmth, and love back into your home. And it all starts with the parent and a little shifting of that perspective and believing that it is possible, and it is possible for that to happen. So remember, a change in perspective changes everything. We'll see you next time.